Today, the nerds are talking about Orange is the New Hack, Good Guy Nintendo, and which is better, CGI or practical effects? And today's secret word is Nerds with Mics! Ah!
Hey everyone, I'm Maxwell.
I'm Justin.
And I'm Travis.
Son of a bitch took your spot again.
It's getting old.
So this is episode 48, recorded on Tuesday, May 2nd of 2017. Nerds with Mics is a podcast about movies, TV shows, games, technology, and much, much more.
Yes.
What have you guys been up to?
Justin, you start since you clearly want to go before me.
No, I want you to go first.
Okay. Good. I've been up to a lot. I watched Gotham this week. Maxwell, I don't know if you got to watch Gotham last night.
Yeah, buddy, I did.
It was really good. Trying to think of what else I did. Watched more Legion. Played the heck out of Mario Kart. Been playing a lot of Mario Kart. And other than that, just working on computer type stuff. But other than that, that's really about it. Oh, and I went and seen today. I went and seen The Fate of the Furious without you, Maxwell.
I know. I still haven't seen it.
Yeah, I went and seen it with my friend Kevin, and gotta say, it actually wasn't terrible. It was actually, I think I liked it better than the last one. So it was good.
Well, we're gonna actually talk about The Fate of the Furious a little bit later. So good that you saw it.
Yeah, I did. Justin, what about you?
Yeah, I watched Silicon Valley. Did you watch that one?
Yes, watched that.
Good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad they've already wrapped that one storyline up a little bit.
Same.
Did you watch Fargo again?
No.
Oh, wait, no, there hasn't been a new episode of Fargo
No.
since we last recorded.
Yep.
And then I've been playing a lot of Rust. I'm really back into that, it seems like, which is a bad path to go down.
Long story short.
Yeah, long story short. And then I did play a little bit of Siege, but not much. I did play the Prey demo, and it's awesome. Maxwell, I think that's a game you'll really like. Might want to check out that first hour demo.
Might want to get more storage space, Maxwell.
That's what that's what I'm just stuck in a world of, like, I haven't even turned the PlayStation on since right before the software update where they
If only they
that.
made a device to expand storage.
Yeah.
Problems would be solved.
It'd be cool if like they made that device and then like you could be a good friend and get it for him. But then like if there's only a service that you could use to get it to him somehow.
Yeah, well, he does have a birthday coming up, so maybe if he plays his cards right, Santa will get him one.
Santa.
Wait, that's not right. Never mind.
Summer Santa.
Summer Santa.
So I guess it's my turn, huh?
It is.
So I watched Gotham, and about Gotham, I don't know who that old man is that's training Bruce right now, but
Logan?
why is it's just like another whitewashing of Hollywood, it looks like.
Yeah, is that supposed to be Ra's al Ghul?
I don't think so. I think he's just too old, but
yeah,
he's clearly like somewhere in Asia training like with monks or something, and then it's just an old white dude.
Yep.
Dumb.
Yeah.
I did watch Get Out. That was a good movie.
Oh.
Yeah, I was really surprised
so
by that.
Speaking of the opposite of whitewashing, you watched Get Out.
That's right.
It's a really good movie. I've heard. I want to go see it, but I've not seen it yet.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It was not as scary as I thought it was going to be honest. The trailer makes it look horrifying.
Yeah. Is it as good as the reviewers are saying, though?
Yeah.
I mean, it did have like a 100% fresh rating at one point. Yeah,
I mean, it was definitely a different idea in the story, and I really liked that. So I would recommend it.
Okay.
And then I played the heck out of some Zelda, because just every episode, it's like I feel like must be what Justin feels like when he talks about playing Siege. Yeah, every week I talk about playing Zelda because it's the best game in the world.
Yeah. So how many Divine Beasts do you have left?
I still have one left. I'm just holding off doing it for whatever reason, and I'm just running around doing a bunch of other stuff. I've unlocked the entire map now, which is kind of sad. Like I kind of didn't want to get to that point. And then I'm fighting a bunch of dragons trying to collect their different shards, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. You don't even know anything about dragons, Justin.
How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh, yeah, whatever.
Same thing.
So, let's get on, guys. Last week we talked about some CGI versus practical effects.
Right.
And we held it off for this week to really dig deep into it. I hope you guys did your homework and got some opinions.
Yes.
Because we are going to talk deeply about the difference between CGI and practical effects. Is one better than the other? And really, do they have to live together in harmony? So, I was worried about as many movies seem to be returning to all the CGI setups that we saw in the 90s, early 90s, I guess, in 2000s. And I always remember Lake Placid, that movie, and the alligator or crocodile just looking terrible. This was a big problem with the Star Wars prequels. And something that has bothered me with even the Iron Man movies, because his head always kind of looks a little separated from his body when he has the mask off or helmet. The new Alien movie is all CGI, but has gotten amazing early reviews. So what are your opinions, guys, on CGI versus practical effects?
Well, when done correctly, CGI can be great, obviously. I mean, we've seen it. It's enhanced movies in a way that, and provided these effects that would not be possible with practical effects. But like you mentioned, the Star Wars prequels, you do have some movies listed here that failed that I actually disagree with, but we'll get into that when we get there. But one movie that really stands out to me is Sin City.
Yeah.
That movie, it would be impossible for that movie to happen with practical effects. And it's one of my favorite movies. So CGI really made that movie what it is. Whereas The Force Awakens, there's CGI in The Force Awakens is a perfect example of CGI and practical effects, I think, working together. You still have like the guys and like the monster suits and actual like set pieces and stuff, but then when they have to go and use CGI, they can. It just works. It looks great. It doesn't take you out of the experience.
Yeah, I agree for the most part. I think if it's done in a way where it's not too much CGI and the practical effects are done in a way that is not obvious, like one of the movies that I think about, I think it was in the 90s, Maxwell, Fifth Element.
Yeah,
where obviously all the aliens and bad guys, they really weren't CGI. They used practical effects, and I thought that was done in a way that looked really good. And then also there's a new movie coming out that looks like it's going to be a combination of CGI and practical effects. Valerian. I don't know if you guys have seen the trailer.
Right, same guy did Fifth Element.
Correct. And that looks like it's done in a way where they're trying to use practical effects as much as they can, but in obvious situations where that won't work, they're doing CGI. I think if they do it in a way where they're only using CGI in a case of like it has to be done this way, I think that's fine. I think about, I know that you have one of the movies on here, Lord of the Rings. I think about that, but I also think about The Hobbit and how much I love those movies. And those also use a lot of CGI as well. And the way that the trickery that they do where they make the hobbits look really small compared to Gandalf. Like that's not necessarily CGI, it's just camera trickery, right? So I think if they're married together in a way that makes sense, I think there's a place for both of them. When I think about some of my favorite movies as my childhood movies, I think like the Terminator, obviously, right? Like that was really when we first started to see CGI that actually looked like it was worth something, right? I think about especially in Terminator 2 when you had the cop that was obviously made of the aluminum, I guess, that could melt down and stuff like that. I remember seeing that as a kid and it just blowing my mind, right?
Right.
But to Justin's point, I think when it's done in a way that, because if you look at the Star Wars prequel movies, they look like they use so much CGI that those look like they took place after the original movies.
Yeah, which is really weird. I mean? Yeah,
which is super weird. So I think it all depends on the time setting, where it falls in the timeline, to what movie if it's a standalone film, that's fine. If it's a prequel, I think all those things kind of come into play of which approach is best. And sometimes even shadows of cats might enhance the background. You just never know.
Wonder how that'll work with green screen.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see. But what do you think, Maxwell?
So speaking of the Lord of the Rings movies, so those I think were done in an excellent way from beginning to end, except for when they're in the trees, like the giant trees, and it looked like 1950s or something. green screen effects. It was really bad, like just the movement of the background and the tree in front of it. But with the Hobbit movies, which came out, of course, after Lord of the Rings, the main orc through that whole thing was CG. Where in Lord of the Rings, the main orc was practical effects. I mean, they had makeup, everything.
Yeah, and they were terrifying.
And I think the two of those are very noticeably different. Like, you can see the CGI in the Hobbit, in that main orc versus the other one. And it stands out a little bit, and there's that shadow again, so that's awesome. As far as the Star Wars prequels, I think some of it, too, comes from, like, the design of the spaceships and things. So all of those things seemed more rounded and more futuristic and, like stealthy, I guess, where the older stuff was very boxy and organic looking in a way, right? And I think that with the prequels of Star Wars, if they didn't have those ships that were like, I think the main one that they fly in the first episode is kind of very reflective. It's almost chrome looking.
Yeah.
Right.
It's very smooth. I think if they went with a direction of like, okay, the ships in Star Wars are very, I don't know how to explain it. I mean, they're very constructed looking.
Yeah.
It looks like there's nuts and bolts holding the stuff together. I think if they did the CG but designed the ships correctly, it could have turned out a little bit differently. And I recently found out that, very surprisingly, they did have a lot of miniatures for the prequels. One example is the pod racing. They had a large scale miniature that they used, but even though the CGI was so heavily done that you would have never thought that there was a model there at all.
I honestly think that movie, The Phantom Menace, I really think that was George Lucas getting his hands on some new equipment, some software, and saying, "Sweet, let's see what I can do." I mean, it was just him. He was just a kid with new toys. That's all it was.
Yeah. I think a prime example of that, because it came out at the same time when they released the special edition of the original trilogy. He added in all those extra scenes with like Jabba the Hutt and such.
All right, so I actually like the Jabba the Hutt scene being added in.
Where Han steps on his tail?
Not the tail part, but did you know why they had to do that, right?
Yeah, because
where they filmed him with a man, he walked right behind him. They couldn't fix that, but I actually liked having Jabba in the movie. But full disclosure, I saw the original unedited trilogy after the special edition. So my first time ever seeing the Star Wars movies was the special edition.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, so here's where it gets a little sad, guys. No, my parents hated Star Wars, and they didn't want me to know about it, I guess, because we were at the movies one day, and I'm like a kid. It's like 97, right? And a trailer comes on for it, and I know nothing of this universe. And my parents, I can see them both being like, "Oh no, like he's going to be exposed to this." And after the trailer was over, I looked at my mom and I said, "I want to see both of those movies." And she went, "There's 3 of them." And I was like, "Okay, let's go. Like, I want to see them." So, yeah, they kind of kept that from me until I discovered it on my own. But
I see.
Yeah, so
they added a lot of stuff in there. And
I've seen the original since.
The part I hate the most out of all of them is where they added in the little musical section where that like female weird creature thing comes in and sings a song, and it completely unnecessary and just like terribly done. Although there were several releases of the prequels and like the special editions where he kept going back in and like editing again and again and again. And I think the original release of the prequels had a puppet for Yoda, and then he went back in 2 times and did CGI.
The Blu-ray, Yoda. I think, yeah. So I'm going to ask you guys a question real quick, not to get too off topic here, but this is just something I thought of. When the trilogy came out on Blu-ray, at the end of Return of the Jedi, it's Obi-Wan, Yoda, and Anakin, but it's Hayden Christensen.
Right.
How do you guys feel about that? Because continuity-wise, it makes sense.
Not to me.
I mean, because Anakin never made it past that point. Anakin died.
Yeah, but it should have been him as old man, not him as young.
Well, it was an old man, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I get it, but I don't like it, but I get it. You know what I mean? It's one of those weird love-hate things.
You have to explain how you get it, because to me, the way I view it is, it's Anakin, right? I mean, he becomes Darth Vader because he's still alive. They keep him alive.
Anakin never became that man, though, that we saw in the original cut.
Yeah.
How's that not make sense?
It just doesn't. Because, he was, scarred and burned, and, that old man's just like, what's up? I'm just some old dude in a Jedi robe.
I see what you're saying. Visually, he should have been a distorted old man if he was going to be an old man.
Yeah, he never should have been a peaceful-looking old guy. He should have looked like a mess.
I get it. Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes a lot more sense. I never thought about the fact that, old man was like, I got hair and I look normal.
Yeah, because he didn't have arms.
Suddenly have this robe.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's just like, oh, I'm back in the Jedi Council now in Jedi heaven. I mean, that just doesn't...
It's interesting. It's very interesting. And obviously you don't want to see a deformed...
or a cat.
Obviously, you don't want to see the deformed, half human floating there with half an arm or something.
Yeah,
but.
It's I get the decision to change it to Hayden Christensen. I don't necessarily like it, but I respect it. I don't hate it either.
Yeah,
it's just
there were things where they added in. Oh man, what did they do?
They added Gungans to that part too. Them saying we won or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Bunch of weird stuff, but
Gungans.
Just to fix the continuity.
But you said there was something
changes.
in one of these lists that you disagreed with. What was that?
Okay, well, I actually one part of it I misread. You put The Mummy Returns. I agree that movie was not great, but the first Mummy was great. With the guy turning into the sand face or whatever.
I think he's referring to CGI specifically with
to the
Rock.
Scorpion King. Yeah,
yes.
I didn't read that. I didn't see all of that at first.
That looked awful.
Oh man, but that was The Rock's first big thing, and after he did that role, which apparently, because I watched a behind the scenes an interview thing. Well, not even behind the scenes. It was a recent interview he did where he said with that movie it was 110 degrees outside, and he had a cold or the flu or something. He was real sick, but he was I got to give it my all. And the next day after recording, they called him up and they were like, all right, we liked you. We want to do a standalone movie with you. So he obviously made a good impression, but that movie doesn't do him a whole lot of justice, I think. So maybe the people, while they're recording, were like, wow, this guy's got it. But man, that CG was just bad.
One thing I do want to add is you had the Matrix Reloaded fight scene. Which fight scene are you referring to?
I assume when all the agents are fighting Neo.
Yes.
I thought that was the last one.
No.
Or was that the second?
Well, it happens a lot through the second and third one.
It does, you're right.
But this fight specifically is the first time that Neo comes across all the Agent Smiths. He sees the one and he's basically thinking I thought you died, and then all of them start showing up. And
is
then
it when he's with the Oracle? And he pulls up the pipe
when they're in the little courtyard area.
He spins around with the pipe and knocks them all down. And
my bad. Yeah. I was thinking of the really cool one with all the medieval weapons and stuff, because that one today is my favorite fight scene. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on Mad Max Fury Road. That was a good combination of CGI and then also practical effects, because I know a lot of the stunts and stuff in the movie they actually did, and the guys going back and forth on the poles and stuff. I know that's part green screen, but there's still people going back and forth on those poles. So
yeah, so and this the next one. One of the ones I have on the list here is iRobot. That movie, the whole time, was a futuristic, and then it's just obviously a robot that they have to make CGI. And I felt like that one was done extremely well. Now, I Am Legend, another Will Smith movie, it was a great movie, but then when you got to see the CGI creatures or whatever, they looked terrible.
They did.
Yeah.
But everything else, the production value was so high, and cities really looked like they were overgrown with grass and all that. But man, the most important second characters in the movie were terrible.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about bad CGI, Lost.
Yeah.
That show is so good, but it has
monsters.
Awful CGI.
I'm excited because you have the Jungle Book on here, but it makes me also excited for the new Lion King movie.
Yeah.
That's going to be very interesting. I mean, the visuals from the Jungle Book look great. I really wonder how this is going to work out with the Lion King.
Because I think it's interesting when they... Because it's one thing to have CGI in a completely CGI'd environment, but it's another thing to have something CGI'd on top of real world. So
yeah, and go back to Mad Max Fury Road. So obviously they made all of those vehicles for the cat. They made all of the vehicles for the movie, which is incredible. The environments, however, were partially real. Almost everything in those visually were added in, and that was a very impressive movie because the CGI in that movie, honestly, I couldn't tell you what was a real landscape and what wasn't.
Well, enough about what we think. What do some of our listeners think, Maxwell? I know we posed a question to them, right?
Yeah, so here's the winner actually came down. 56% of our listeners thought that practical effects were the better choice. And then 22% for CGI and 22% said that both of them were a must. And I'm probably more along the lines that they both need to be mixed well together. For examples like we were talking about with Mad Max, Tron Legacy is a movie that's almost 100% CGI.
It's so good, though.
Yeah,
so good.
But so to me, I think it's really comes down to like at the beginning of making this movie, we got to know what our budget is, and is it going to be primarily CGI or not? Okay, right. If it's primarily CGI, can we afford it, and can we afford a studio that makes it look good?
Right.
You know, I'd mentioned Sin City earlier, but now that I think about it, they used a lot of practical effects too for like Mickey Rourke's character.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, his face is that's not his face.
Which looks better than his real face does.
You know,
sadly enough, it did. Yes.
What I also think about practical effects, I think about how awesome Ron Perlman looks as Hellboy.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And the second movie was so much better.
Have you seen Fantastic Beasts?
Yeah.
With him in it? It's so weird to see him like CGI'd into a goblin.
Oh,
it's like it's his face, but it's on a
right.
goblin body.
That's
yeah,
right. I forgot about that.
I forgot that was him. Yeah. What camp are you in, Justin? Are you for CGI practical effects or?
I prefer practical effects, but I think both are a must. Now it varies case by case, for each movie, but I do think generally both are necessary.
I think both are a must for me as well. The only reason I say that is like I would hate to see a movie be pigeonholed into making a movie look a certain way because they're so against CGI. So I think if you can, depending on the time and setting, I think there's a place for both.
Yeah.
As long as they complement each other, so to speak.
Right.
So.
And I think it comes down to like the producer or director or whoever understanding what his budget is and not making a rash decision like somewhere along the lines and going, oh, let's just CGI it. And then they're like, well, we don't really have the money to get something good in there. And I think, man, Ron Perlman was everything because I was thinking of Blade 2. There's a fight scene at the beginning of that with the ninjas and it was really bad. But one example, there was a TV show, I think it was just called, oh man, was it just called Fast? Maybe?
With, you talking about with The Rock?
No, it was just a TV show.
Oh, TV show.
But they were like detectives or something like that, and it was always a lot of explosions and car chases and stuff, but that show spent all of its budget on the practical effects. So things where they maybe could have used some cheap CGI so that way could continue the episodes. They basically blew all their money on the explosions and the cars, and they would get Ferraris and like really high-end stuff. And it was great, but they blew their budget and they couldn't make any more shows.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
So like that's a bad example. Like visually looked great, they did a good job on it, but they used their money poorly.
Right.
So I think if you're going to do both, you just got to be smart and it's pay attention to your finances.
Right. Good call.
Yep. Now,
oh,
what are we talking about next?
I think movies. You want to do movies?
I think I've seen a few of those.
I think that's only appropriate since we just got done talking about CGI and practical effects.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about stuff that's out now and coming out now. We'll get into the rest of our normal show here. So, movie and TV news. I know we've discussed a few times that Hollywood needs to get their shit together, right? And offer more roles to minorities. Well, the rapper Aquafina, that stars in the upcoming Ocean's 8 movie with Sandra Bullock, will be joining an all-Asian cast in the new movie called Crazy Rich Asians, which is hard for me to say. Crazy Rich Asians. The lead will be played by Constance Wu, who is on the show Fresh Off the Boat.
The best.
You watch that?
Yes.
Oh, she is great on that show. That entire
hilarious.
Cast is perfect.
Yeah, that's a funny show.
It is. It's really good.
The guy on that show, the first time I saw him, of course, was in
The Interview.
The Interview. Yes.
Well, did you watch The Office?
Yes.
He played a small part, one episode, where Jim pranks Dwight as
that's
Asian
right.
Jim.
Yes.
Asian Jim, yeah.
That's the
That sounds
best.
hilarious.
It's so funny. Oh my god. Yeah, Dwight basically he comes in and there's Randall Park sitting in Jim's seat. And Dwight's like, "Who are you?" He's like, "Funny, Dwight," you know.
And he
he's
literally
like,
is.
"Good for you. You don't see color." And there's like even like a picture of like his family, but it's him in the picture. It's so good.
Yeah,
sounds
and
awesome.
he basically does everything because he's trying to prove that he's not him, and he'll ask him a question or whatever, and he answers it correctly. Other people in the office are coming in, and they're like
Okay,
totally
Jim.
acknowledging
I
it.
feel like that's a good joke.
It's
the
the whole
best.
show is great. You should watch it.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
So Justin, let's go with your topic, buddy.
Yeah, this is actually a pretty big deal. So last week, hackers claimed that they had stolen not the entire season, but 10 episodes of the season 5 of Orange is the New Black. That's a huge show for Netflix. It was actually one of their first shows, I think, that really
It is,
kind of kicked
yeah.
off them being the powerhouse that they are. Well, they were not bluffing. They did steal those episodes. Netflix did not pay the ransom, and those episodes are now online. You can watch them if you're into piracy. But it's not the whole season. It's 10 episodes. So, well, this will have an effect on Netflix in some way, right?
I don't think so. Have they released them?
Yeah, you can watch them right now.
No. I'm
Oh,
asking, has Netflix...
It comes out on June 10th.
So they didn't decide to go ahead and just release it early?
No, they should have. But here's the funny thing is Netflix is going to be able to tell exactly who pirated the episodes because they're going to be able to see, everyone started on episode 11. Like, why did they do that?
Oh, that's
Because there's
true.
13 episodes, I think, in the season.
Oh, yeah.
So, but I think it's a big deal now. If only someone would do that for House of Cards. Which, do you guys watch House of Cards?
I don't watch either of those
No.
shows.
Oh, they're both really good. Oh, well, I won't. Yeah.
So I don't think that the number of people that pirate and watch the show is going to really affect somebody like Netflix. With the amount of people that do watch it, I think they'll see some differences. Maybe like you were saying, it like suddenly pick up on episode 11 or whatever. But I really don't see it affecting their business. And
That's just such
I
a
am
big
just
show
surprised. Yeah, I am just surprised that they didn't go, all right, yeah, let's go ahead and release these 10 or whatever and just
Yeah.
say, screw you guys, we'll just post them ourselves. Like,
for them.
you know, that would have been a quick, easy solution to get your watches.
I think most people keep a Netflix subscription. Like, I don't think they pick it up when their favorite show comes out. I think they usually just kind of keep it.
They should have just released the 10 and then held the last 5 episodes for June 10th.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty good
I mean,
idea.
most people are binge watching anyway. Like,
Yeah.
what was that? The Stranger Things watched in like 2 days.
Yeah, I don't know anybody that watches a Netflix show a week at a time when they drop it all at once.
Have you watched that new show on Hulu? The Handmaid's Tale?
I want to because the cast looks really good.
I watched the first episode. It's pretty intense.
Is that a week?
It's
by
a week by week. That's what made me think of it. Is they release them like
Did
every
you
Monday. or
watch
something.
what's the one with the guy from Breaking Bad? Is the
The Path.
Is it good?
I haven't seen it, but I really want to watch it.
Yeah.
Someone told me, who was it? Just the other day, told me it's basically a direct link to Scientology. Like it's basically
Wow.
ripped out of that playbook. But I can't remember who told me that.
Tom Cruise.
It may have been him. Yeah, I'm really good friends with him. So guys, we all know that I am a huge Alien fan.
You know what? Like, I'm already tired of you talking about it. It's been
I mean,
literally every episode.
And when are you going to watch it, Maxwell? Come on. I mean, we've been doing this for a year. You need to watch Alien. It's so good. Anyway, it's my favorite movie. Ridley Scott, the director, said that Neil Blomkamp,
I almost thought that was Blumpkin.
Neil Blomkamp, the guy who brought us District 9 and Elysium, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
His Alien movie is dead. He doesn't think that Alien 5 will ever come to fruition. I'm so bummed out since I'm so heavily invested in this film universe. And Maxwell probably doesn't even care because he's never seen him.
I've been too busy watching Fargo.
Oh, yes, you have. I hear that show's really good, too. I should probably watch
Maxwell,
it.
does this upset you at all?
It's for somebody like me that's so deep into this universe. I already kind of knew that this is happening. But
Wait,
It
there's
does-
a plot twist. Maxwell knows about aliens.
You've watched Alien?
Yeah.
Did I watch Fargo?
Hold
I'm
on,
so confused.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
Okay, so we found out we're on the right timeline. Maxwell is the one who's watched Alien. It is I that have watched Fargo. I have watched Fargo. I don't know how to talk. Travis has also watched Fargo in this timeline,
Yes.
but only
And
one
Alien.
episode. And Alien.
I watched the second episode.
Oh, you did watch this? It
Yeah.
was good, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Um,
You're like, yes, Dad, back off.
Yeah, God, lay off me. I'm starving.
But no, but for me, this news, I was so deep into this Alien franchise and universe that I kind of knew it wasn't happening, which is a disappointment because for people that are fans of the movies, this would pick up after Aliens,
Ripley.
the second.
Yeah, that one too.
So it would basically split the universe off where Alien 3 went and just kind of say, well, an alternate timeline if stuff happened differently, we're going to go
Wow.
this way.
I'm so confused.
It's kind of like, well, you haven't watched those X-Men movies where Days of Future Past basically reset
yeah.
the timeline to say all these other
I
movies
do want to
suck.
watch those too. I will get to these movies, I
You will
promise you.
not.
Before our 2-year anniversary, I will have watched the X-Men movies and the Alien movies.
Oh my
We need to
goodness.
all just take off a vacation together and just watch movies all
We
week.
should. That sounds good.
It's going to be everything I've ever seen and then add in Fargo.
Yeah. So, guys, I had mentioned that I had went and seen Fate and the Furious, which it wasn't a terrible movie, and Charlize Theron played a really good villain, which also, side note, I can't wait for Atomic Bombshell. That's besides the point. Anyways, guys, can you believe that Fate of the Furious has already racked up $1.06 billion?
Oh my God. Yep, so did Avatar. So.
Worldwide, of course. But this is actually second place of the franchise behind the seventh sequel, which was the last one, which obviously was Paul Walker's last movie.
His last ride?
Yes, yes. Most likely, it will actually surpass that as the movie. So like eventually, like it's gonna pass that movie. However,
I'm glad you.
you like I'm talking about my hands.
I was so
today.
lost, but
I
then
don't
when
know
you
what to do
moved
with
your
my
hand
hands.
from here to here, I realized that you meant
Yeah.
passing.
Yeah, so if this is the seventh sequel and this is the eighth, it's
Hold
gonna
on.
pass it.
So if your left hand is in the slow lane and your right hand's in the fast lane, it's going to pass it.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
I gotcha.
so eventually
All right.
it's gonna pass it, but as of right now, it has not. And it is, are you guys planning on seeing this movie?
That's a hard no.
Because let me tell you, it's still crushing at the box office, and it's still in theaters. However, you know how typically, like, when you go to the movies and a movie's been out for several weeks, like, when you go get your ticket, they say, yeah, it's in theater 15, and it's, like, usually, like, back... It's still in the first theater when I went to
Right.
see it. Like, it's still in the biggest theater that they have.
I mean, I'm not trying to discount what it's done, but what else has come out since then? I really don't know.
I don't know either.
The Boss Baby?
No.
Yeah, well, I think that came out after it. Yeah, Beauty and the Beast is still technically beating Fate of the Furious right now, but we shall see if
Did you go
it can
see...
hold its ground.
You went and seen it.
I haven't seen it, but
Maxwell's
this
seen
weekend at the local drive-in, which by local I mean an hour and a half away, Guardians of the Galaxy and Beauty and the Beast are playing, so we might go.
Oh, okay.
If Beauty and the Beast plays first, we'll go, and we'll take Owen.
Did you know that... are you familiar with Miles Davis?
Yeah.
So Miles Davis and Emma Watson were actually originally supposed to be in La La Land.
Do you mean Miles Teller? And
Yeah, Miles Teller. That's it. Yeah, that guy. Anyways, those two were originally supposed to be in La La Land. I felt bad. I was like, man, I love Emma Stone. I think she was great in the movie. I wouldn't have replaced her. I almost felt bad for Emma Stone for a second, and then I realized how much money this movie's made, and I don't feel bad for her anymore. So,
Nope. Don't feel bad
Yeah,
for her. And
Emma
she was in Harry
Watson-
Potter.
yeah.
Emma Watson being in Beauty and the Beast, she took that role because, I mean, she's a strong feminist, and she felt that Belle, right? Is her name?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Is a good example of like her idea of a feminist, which is somebody that's basically doesn't take your shit from anybody, and is deserving and stands up.
I heard she also
people, so.
wanted to raise awareness for bestiality.
Oh my god,
I'm sorry, I had to.
that was our alternate facts.
I heard that she was like John Wayne's toilet paper, rough and tough, and don't take no shit from no one. Anyways, time to get into gaming and tech news. Justin, you and I know how much I have played.
Yep.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
So good.
How much have you played?
I know I haven't played as much as you, but Kayla and I played a little bit this weekend. Did a little battle mode.
I have almost 500 coins.
I don't have 500 coins. No.
I'm hardcore.
We did get the racing wheels, but I haven't taken it out of the box yet.
Oh yeah, I actually have some in my back seat that I have also not taken out of the box yet.
This box is so small. I'm like, what is this going to add to it?
Yeah. What's your thoughts so far?
I love it. I didn't put a ton of time into Mario Kart 8 originally, so I don't really know what all is new.
I was actually going to say the exact same thing. I think I played less than an hour on the Wii U. So
yeah. But I'm really enjoying it. It's definitely I hate the word system seller. Breath of the Wild is a system seller. This is a game to complement that.
Yeah.
It's definitely a must buy if you have a Switch. I mean, come on. But
So some of my takeaways. So number one, online was ready day one.
Yeah.
So it was up and running.
I wouldn't know. I haven't played online.
12 players online, or 8 players if you're doing just a local Wi-Fi game. And I don't know if you got to try that out, but I was at work the other day and there was like 6 of us that had our Switch. We had Mario Kart.
Bunch of nerds.
You can hit wireless and create a room. And I guess it does it ad hoc, but it's all local. You don't have to be connected to Wi-Fi or anything.
Does everyone have to have a game cartridge, or is it like download? I
think you have to have a game cartridge, but still,
backwards.
It was so smooth to be on an ad hoc network with no actual internet. It was awesome. 47 tracks, which is a lot.
Yep.
And then also a bunch of costumes for your Mii character, which I've unlocked every single one of them.
With your amiibos?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Guess which one's my favorite, Maxwell?
Link.
Samus.
I was about to say Samus.
Oh.
Yeah, Samus has a costume for my little Mii character. But it's fun. It's great. It's smooth. Graphics are great. And a lot of unlockables, which I'm all about some unlockables. Maxwell knows about those unlockables that I like.
Did you have the Samus amiibo, or did you use that trick?
I used the trick on all of them.
Okay.
Anyways, but yeah, if you have a Switch and you've been playing Zelda and you're like, I love Zelda, but I need something else to play, Mario Kart 8 is your game.
Yep.
However, Tetris is about to drop on as well. If you're a Tetris person, I'm not.
Minecraft is too, I think.
Oh, okay.
And there's a new, it's called NBA Playgrounds. It's kind of like NBA Jam meets NBA Street.
Yeah. Dude, Street was my jam.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah. Now, you got to tell us about this game because I have not played it.
Okay. Sniper Ghost Warrior 3. So, several months ago, Sniper Elite 4 was my pick of the week.
Do you like Mexican food?
No, what?
Bean dip!
Okay.
Sorry. Sorry, I was just trying to liven you up a little bit.
So Sniper Elite 4 was my pick of the week. I really enjoyed that game. It's a great game. Highly recommend it. So Sniper Ghost Warrior 3 came out. The trailer looked awesome. And this one, like if you shoot someone in the face, like their jaw goes flying off. It's disgusting.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Were you let down?
Yeah, the game's terrible. It's first person instead of third person. And it's just very...
Graphics not good either?
Graphics are actually pretty decent, but it's very sluggish. The gun mechanics aren't very fun.
What about load times?
Load times are bad. Apparently, I actually didn't experience this, but some users have experienced load times up to 5 minutes getting from the main menu into the game, which is unacceptable. And I didn't experience that, and the developers issued a statement saying that they are working on a patch. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll believe it when I see it, but as of now, I do not recommend this game.
So Sniper Elite is by far a better game.
Oh, yeah, buy Sniper Elite 4. Just buy it anyway.
I think Maxwell has it, and I don't think he's ever opened it.
Do you still have
Never
it?
been open because I don't have space to
I'll
save
play it with you. Just open it.
All right, so another game that I actually had a chance to play at the beginning of the week is a game called, and Justin actually bought it, it's called What Remains of Edith Finch.
Yep.
I think we've played about the exact amount, maybe about 45 minutes to an hour possibly. I got to tell you, from the beginning that game started, I was completely sucked in.
Yeah, it's great. It's such a trip. It's what I imagine doing hallucinogens is like.
Those little white diabetic socks she has on. That's so cute.
Oh, she purred.
Yeah.
When I did that.
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
So, unlike any game you played, right?
It's very unique. I really enjoyed it. I love the narrative.
The way that it puts subtitles in the real world.
Yeah, that was cool. Let's just say in the first 40 minutes you'll be playing as multiple different animals.
Yeah. It's really interesting. I think $20 what you picked it up.
$20.
It's definitely worth $20. I'll tell you that. It's an indie title. It's not from obviously a AAA developer, but if you're looking for a game that is mostly story driven and I'd say a little bit of, it kind of reminds me of a mixture of. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Myst.
Yeah,
but less point and click. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I need to pay attention more to these indie games because honestly, some of them are far better than a lot of stuff that's out right now. Like Sniper Ghost Warrior 3 is probably way under the level of Edith Finch.
Not only that, but I bet your lady friend will probably enjoy watching you play some of these other games that are indie titles. I would say there's been several that I've played that my wife, what she does is she always seems not interested at first. I don't know if your all's ladies are this way, but like even when I'm watching like a TV show, she's like, "Oh, that looks so stupid," and yet she just sits there and watches every single episode with me. And she does the same. She does the same thing with games. Like at first she's like, "This just looks really strange," and next thing you know, she's like staring at the screen like, "What's about to happen next?" And this game did that to her. She was trying to do homework and she just kept watching me as I was playing. So it's good. So.
You know, I need to bring Resident Evil 7 and the PSVR over and let her try that out.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that would be good. All right, so real quickly.
And you.
Yeah, I'm down. Darksiders 3 has been revealed / leaked for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Just some of the facts about it that are a little different. So it is open world, whereas the last games I don't think were open world. They were more like God of War, where you were kind of just progressing through a story and the stages were kind of laid out for you. You're actually going to be playing a character called Fury, which is a female mage. And for those of you that haven't played Darksiders, you play. You're the Horseman of the Apocalypse. I think you play different ones in the first and second game. This one, you're playing a third one named Fury, female mage. It's actually a sister of the main character from Darksiders 2, which is cool. You're going to be defeating 7 deadly sins, which is really interesting, and also the servants. And the only thing we know so far, there is a trailer that's available, but it will be due out sometime late 2018, so it'll be a while.
Yeah.
And then also, Breath of the Wild DLC has been announced. There's going to be a ton of stuff coming. It's going to be this summer. We are going to have a video that kind of outlines everything more in detail, what's going to be announced or what's going to be released in the game. So be looking for that probably, I'd say, sometime tomorrow. So.
Yes, and that'll be on youtube.com/nerdswithmikespodcast. Don't forget the podcast part.
Yep.
Or go to nerdswithmikes.com and get all the stuff there.
Now, Justin, I want this story you're about to go over real quick to be true.
Yes, me too. So a series that I thought was dead might not be. Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox, says that he sees many different directions that the Fable series could go. We know that Lionhead Studios did close last year, but he was not willing to rule out that the series is over. But he also didn't have anything new to announce. But the fact that we are hearing the name Fable mentioned, I feel like that's good news because I really want a new one.
Yeah, I want that to be true. Maxwell, I know you probably watched me play Fable, but did you play any of the Fable games?
I did not. Just watched you, as with most games, it seems.
Yeah. Maxwell, I think you have our last story, right?
Yes, I do. So Nintendo promised delivery of some more Switch consoles to the U.S., and while these are typically done by sea, they decided to grab some and put them on planes to get here quicker. Which is pretty cool because it shows some real dedication from Nintendo. There's obviously a more expensive route to put them on a plane and more dangerous if you're on a United flight.
Ooh, that's pretty dangerous.
Topical.
That's pretty dangerous.
But I thought that was super cool. You know, normally they're just going to wait months for them to get here by a freight carrier on a big old boat. But they decided to fly them in and take care of us dumb Americans. So
A big old what?
boat. Is that what I just said? I don't remember.
Yeah. The only thing that I noticed, though, and I'm pretty sure it's probably strategic by Nintendo, is we've not seen Switches for a couple weeks, and then Mario Kart launches, and we got at the store, we had like 25 ready to be sold when Mario Kart released. So
Makes sense.
yeah, I mean, it makes sense, but I can't wait till we get to the point where anybody can walk into a store and say, I want to buy a Switch, and they can get a Switch, you know?
When the Switch U comes out, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh God, the Switch U. I still think about the Wii U because that's what I play Zelda on, and I'm like looking at the game pad, which is a terrible design, but just that the name of the console Wii was bad, and the Wii U was just so much worse.
Yeah,
Switch
Wii
is better.
Terrible.
Yeah.
But you know where that takes us.
Tell me, Maxwell, where does it take us?
It takes us to this special little somewhere where we got to listen to some words from our friends.
Hey, Linda.
Hey, Louise.
What's wrong?
Well, I love podcasts, but I need a new one. Do you know if there are any where two sweetie sisters talk about movies from the 80s and 90s that shaped their childhood existence? And also that have a cat that makes a ruckus in the background?
Do I? Let me tell you a podcast I started listening to called Large Marge Sent Us. Two sisters break down classic 80s and 90s movies like The Princess Bride, Neverending Story, and Pee-wee's Big Adventure. They even did a whole month dedicated to Fred Savage flicks.
Wow, I love Fred Savage. Where can I get this magical podcast?
You can subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, or Google Play. You can also follow them on Twitter at The Sweetie Club. And don't forget to tell them Large Marge sent you to this podcast.
Hey, it's Nick from the theNBexperience YouTube channel. Do you like new and retro video games? Do you like to laugh at stupid and inappropriate things? Do you like to watch people fail more often than not? If you answered yes to any or all or even none of these questions, check out the theNBexperience on YouTube, VidMe, Twitch, and Twitter. I feature a wide variety of games from Pokemon to Super Smash Bros. To Shaq Fu. Subscribe to the theNBexperience for this and much more.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Two Guys with Raging Goals. I'm Mikey and this is Adam, and every Friday, we bring you a conversational podcast where we put together this set.
Yes.
We do real good work here. Yep. There we go, Pikachu.
Hallelujah.
Every Friday, we bring a conversation to this table, and we discuss it for your enjoyment.
Yes.
If you like that, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, at Two Guys with Raging Goals. You can also head on over to patreon.com/2guysraging. Throw us a couple bucks, keep the lights on, get exclusive perks, like the all-new Harry Potter series, Muggles at Large. You can also listen to Adam and click a pen like a psychopath.
All right, and we are back. So, Justin, you know how we were talking about the Fable game?
Yeah.
And how you wanted that to come back?
Yeah, desperately.
Totally forgot about the name because it's been so long since the game's been out.
It has been.
That I almost forgot it existed and couldn't remember the name just now. So that's got me thinking. I think next week our big topic should be about these franchises and these games that have been many years since we've seen. So when was the last time we saw a Metroid game that wasn't that stupid battle one on the DS? That wasn't really Metroid. SOCOM.
Yes.
What else?
Castlevania,
Mega Man, a good Mega Man. Yeah, so what... And we're going to ask this question out there to the listeners, of course, and the viewers. What game franchise would you like to see come back?
I'm pretty excited for this one.
I am too.
I'll be honest. I'm pretty excited.
Because like Maxwell, we just talked about Fable and you already forgot about it.
Yeah.
So imagine like how many other games we forgot about that our listeners haven't.
You have to come up with more. Like I expect us all next week when we come to have more than just one answer.
SOCOM.
Okay, just for the record.
SOCOM 1, SOCOM 2, SOCOM 3. Dog.
That's why I said that. You have to have more than one game.
We'll do like top 5 or something.
Yeah, that's good.
That's a lot though.
No, that's not bad at all.
But we want to hear from you guys, so be sure once we post it up to reply back. Really looking forward to hearing some of those answers.
All right.
So guys, it's our favorite time. Travis, you want to lead us?
Absolutely. It's time for Pick of the Week. Da-da-da. I totally faked you out too.
You that breath was for so long. You sucked the air right on my breath. It went so hard.
Out of your mouth hole, right into mine.
Yeah,
oh, wow.
Through the internet. All right. Woo! Oh, my God. All right. Well, the pick of the week. So, Justin, what you got, buddy?
This is tough because I don't feel like I've committed to anything enough this week to have a pick.
Oh, wow. Really?
But
oh, okay.
I will not let them down.
Don't say Siege.
No, for the second week in a row, though, Silicon Valley. They opened up last week, the first week, with a storyline I thought was going to take up a lot of time, and they quickly killed that storyline.
It's pretty dark.
2. Huh?
That last episode was pretty dark.
Yeah, it was. But it was so funny. It was great. You could tell that Jared's so conflicted with everything going on with Richard in the company, and it was a great second episode, and It's the best comedy on TV.
Don't forget, on Netflix.
I can actually just drop my mic.
Netflix. Don't forget, on Netflix, Joshy.
Will you please talk like Marty Huggins, please?
Oh, Gabe from Silicon Valley. He's on The Office.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or Jared from Silicon Valley.
I know
he plays Gabe. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
All right, so my pick of the week, besides my nose, is going to be
flick it.
Specifically the clip from the movie Wanderlust. If you go on YouTube and type it Dirty Talk, it is probably one of the funniest things I've seen. I don't even know if I've seen that movie, but that clip is absolutely hilarious.
Can you give us a brief reenactment?
Well, it's Paul Rudd, and he talks about doing the sex with his penis.
His dick, God.
But it's the most awkward dirty talk that you'll ever see, and it is so funny. But Paul Rudd is always good.
Had you not seen that before I sent it to you?
No, absolutely fantastic.
I thought I was going to send this and be like, yeah, it's old news. How much of that do you think was ad-libbed? I think 100%.
Oh, yeah, all of it. I'm sure. They were like, just go look in that mirror and talk dirty. And he was like, I got this. But it's so typical Paul Rudd's like humor that he absolutely had to just ad-lib that whole thing.
I don't know how you wouldn't have laughed at yourself. Like, I don't know.
You can see him holding back.
Yeah.
Like he's trying not to.
Yeah. My pick of the week is going to be Mario Kart 8. And I know it seems like a cop-out just because it's a new game. But the reason being is I haven't actually played a Mario Kart game that I've cared about since 64.
Yeah.
Although I did love Double Dash. But this game, like now that I've been playing with like friends consistently and stuff, I love it. It's a really good game. My only complaint about the game, and it's not even a complaint about that game, it's a complaint about the Switch. I still feel that console is 100% software incomplete. Because for them to have online ready day one, how do you chat with your friends unless you're using a third-party program? We're using Discord right now to talk on the, because there's no way to chat on the Switch. So you have to use third-party applications to do it.
That is always their worst part, though, is online usage.
And to think about a game that is so like all about like multiplayer and tournaments and stuff like that, not to be able to talk to the people you're racing with, and unless you're using something else, just seems like a really missed opportunity.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's my pick. So over to you, Maxwell.
Nice. So,
nice.
This is where we close it out, people. So thanks for listening, and we hope you enjoyed this episode. And this is actually a new format. So we end the episode with a topic for next week and pick it up at the beginning of the next episode. So we look forward to hearing from you. You like that? The gestures.
I loved it.
Anyway, as always, you can like us and you can follow us. Oh, wait.
You can like us. You can follow us. And you can watch us.
Share us.
Is that Liam Neeson?
Yeah.
And you can kill us.
Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. And you can reach us on Instagram and email, which is podcast@nerdswithmics.com. And guys, look, if you just search Nerds with Mics on any social media, that's us. But if you're on YouTube, you kind of got to put the podcast at the end of it. It's kind of weird.
You
Somebody
can
already
reach
had
us.
Nerds with
You
Mics
can definitely reach us pretty
with it.
much anywhere.
Yeah.
Just don't ever reach around us. You know what I'm saying? Is that dubstep?
Watch the bass drop. All right, guys. Well, love you real big.
So big.
Just a little.
Yep. Take a look at my erection selection. Had we not stopped recording?